Nice Shorts theme song.
Nice shorts. Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Hi, Tommy.
Nice
Hi,
to meet you
Anne.
too.
Yeah. Did you two plan the navy blue for the seawater interview?
Yeah,
I
Yeah, we
like
try and
that.
match a little bit.
right.
Also like the
Someday.
backboard with the wave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
these were what was used on set.
Actual set
Yeah.
pieces. Yep.
I know you did at least one other music video with the group. Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. So we've been working with Fuzzysurf since around 2019.
Wow.
They initially brought us on as puppeteers for their first film because the band members turned into puppets for their video Denny. And then from there, we've done a full-length claymation, stop-motion animation, mixed media with Candy for She Was Crying Sugar. And then this Candy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's available on Fuzzysurf's YouTube. So one thing with Fuzzysurf, with each of their videos, they try to push their boundaries of what they do. Like I said, we've done puppetry, we've done full claymation. They've even done regular, just straight live action videos. And this one, they wanted to do ultimately the stage production.
I think Fuzzysurf actually talked to me before you about this project. And they're like, hey, do you want to make a theatrical production music video? And I was like, yes, of course. Don't even need to ask. Sure, of course. I'm on it.
Yeah.
And that was exciting. I started in theater, but I don't really do that much anymore. So it was fun to kind of go back to my roots. And
I'd say for me too, yeah, like this film is special in a way because I utilized everything that I ultimately went to school for. I have a degree in drawing and painting with an emphasis on animation. I discovered my love of animation outside of liking cartoons my whole life. But like when I started going to college, I wasn't fully sure what I wanted to pursue because I wanted to do drawing and theater as well. And I saw that animation combines the acting, directing, everything with all that drawing. So something like this is like right up my alley. In our early meetings, we came to the conclusion that, yes, this one could use some stop motion animation. But for the bulk of their videos, Fuzzysurf's frontman, Sean Lehner, has like the initial ideas. And then he'll talk it over with us and Joe Ludwig, who is usually like my co-director for a lot of the films, because he's like the cinematographer and the cameras are all his, and I usually take the animation side of things and special effects. But now Joe is part of the band because he also plays bass, and a couple years back Fuzzysurf had kind of a shakeup with their members, and now Joe's pulling double duty with being on stage performing with the band and the cinematography.
He snuck his way into the band.
Yeah.
Absconded.
So Sean, Joe, Ann, and I'll sit down and have pre-production meetings of like what we could do with the story and how we could execute this.
I feel like once we get the story nailed down, then we just kind of figure it out. Like, okay, this is what we want to do. How do you do that?
Right.
A lot of things are also a little different when you're filming it, but like it doesn't have to look good in person necessarily. Like you need it to look good for the audience.
Right.
It needs to look theatrical, but it also needs to read on camera. But then we were also like, we wanted a stylized look to our set. So it's like this weird balance of getting the stylized look, getting the theatrical, but having it read on film. So that was kind of a fun dynamic to play with. Sean gave us like examples of other videos that he liked the style of.
Yeah, he was heavily inspired by 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So we're sort of trying to match that feel and that look of the film, but then he wanted to like take that and turn that into a stage play that had the handmade look, which I think is why we ended up on making everything look like cardboard too.
Yeah, well, there were some other music videos.
Was one the Smashing Pumpkins one from way back?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that was one that he like showed us the example of, and we're like, okay, kind of do that style a little bit with like nautical 20,000 Leagues. Spin.
Classic film.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a challenge for me. I'm a huge fan of Popeye. It was probably my favorite cartoon since I was a child. So I lean into the like Fleischer Studios rubber hose animation, the jokes that you'd see in Popeye, and like I just trying to hold back and not throw all of these Popeye references in this film, which I did hold back. So it was a nice challenge to explore more into other nautical inspirations.
You didn't give anyone a captain's pipe, so you stayed away from the super.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Because it's kind of a theatrical production, we needed kind of a traditional theater. So we couldn't just use like a movie theater or something. It had to
Right.
have like theatrical lighting and curtains and all of what you would expect a theater to have.
Depth of the
Yeah.
stage too probably
Yeah.
became a factor
Space.
as well, because we also had a crew of people moving all of the waves around the boat. So we needed all that space to get around it. For this one, for every shot that we did, we had the audio of the song playing in the background for that specific scene. So they would push and shove the waves to the beat of the song.
Gotta love music video shoots of just click, 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 and music goes loud forever.
Yeah, we're located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we were looking around at a bunch of theaters, and it actually took longer to find a theater that would work than we thought it would. But we came across Marquette University's main stage theater, their Hellfire Theater is what they call it. While we were at the theater, Milwaukee was hit with major storms that flooded some of the cast and crew members' basements. So that for a second, because we were there for the 2 days over the weekend. So for the second day, we had to kind of scramble and rearrange what to shoot when based on who was there.
That's horrible.
And the theater was leaking a little bit too. Not too bad, but
so luckily it wasn't raining when we were loading everything into the theater, because everything in the set is made out of cardboard. So we were lucky there. But once we were in, you could hear the thunder inside the theater.
Wow.
One benefit to animation in general is you already had the sound. You didn't need
Right.
to.
We didn't need any of that. And like, I guess Mother Nature saw that we were dealing with like a staged thunderstorm, so she just decided to bring actual water.
Yeah.
I've got a whole Bible of like the storyboard and everything.
Ooh, fun. Page by page. Let's go.
Yeah. So like, there's a handful of drawings per page with a description. So the first day we got in, we set up the set, and then our theater assistant Iris were going through and getting the lighting together. So while they were doing that, I was going through the boards and like color coding everything, just making these little marks on the side, like orange is what we're going to shoot Saturday, yellow is what we're going to shoot Sunday, anything with a blue check is what we shot. And then the green was, I think, when the shot was placed within the post-production. I was so glad that we had this, because this came in handy for like the mix-up on Sunday when we had to figure out who was going to shoot what when. So one thing I'd say is like always, to an extent, over-prepare, because you're going to thank yourself in the long run for it.
So this latest one is mostly stage props, and then you also had underwater. It looked like you actually shot it and you green screened the people in.
Everything above water in the boat is physically there. The waves are physically there. And then the octopus tentacles above the waves are physically there. Everything else, I think everything else was added in with stop motion. It helped that the backdrop was blue, so it was super easy to key things in. And then when they go underwater, we shot the 4 guys in their diving suits against a green screen. And then all of the sets for underwater are small, just part of it right now, little cutouts.
That's awesome.
So that whole sequence is all stop motion animation besides the guys. The transition shot from above water to underwater where they dive in, it's funny because we shot the boat with everybody like hiding inside, pushing the boat apart with nobody jumping over for safety reasons, because we needed the divers to go underwater as like the water curtain rose and we see the underwater sequence. So I actually built a mini diver out of a wire armature and clay and everything, and animated this guy jumping over the top of the boat. And as the waves rise, it transitions to the live footage of the divers underwater. So it's like a live set with clay characters to a stop motion set with live action characters.
Because you're going from one camera shooting the live action to a very different camera shooting the stop motion and everything else. Like, is there a trick to the proportions and making it still look right?
There is, but I feel like it comes down to like ultimately lighting. And then when I shoot the stop motion, it captures it as such high quality that we can just adjust it as needed. For the stop motion, I use the drag and frame software, and part of the beauty of that is you can import the video footage to match it as best you can.
They all look like they're kind of tall fellas. Does it matter how tall they are for everything else you're building?
I took into consideration height for like the shack and the boat.
Yeah, because they did have to fit in the boat.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make it look like there was room in the boat for them to move around. We're actually currently sitting in the space where we built the boat. Did you want to talk about that?
Please tell us.
So the boat was built in pieces in a very limited space. So the first time I actually saw the boat fully assembled was when we took it to the theater that we filmed it in. So like the day we were going to start filming, bringing all of the stuff in, it's like, okay, good. It does fit together exactly how it's supposed to, which, you know, it should, but it's nice to see.
Yeah.
And like part of the reason why we built it in pieces was also because it has to come apart. So it was like needed to be in pieces. And then I just didn't have space. It had to be in pieces.
The interior of the cardboard, the boat does have like a paper mache skeleton to strengthen it.
Yeah.
Which came in handy because when the boat broke apart, we actually did 3 separate takes of that shot. The way that we decided to break it apart without having like any additional crew members visible and pushing it apart, we just had the band members kind of like fall into it, which would then break it in the middle there.
Pull it apart.
And then Sean, I don't know if he tripped or fell or just like shoved it too hard.
I think he thought it was going to be harder to pull apart.
Yeah.
So he like really went into it.
And then the front just like flipped up and popped open, and it was just like flat. And it didn't damage it. We put it right back up, and you would have never known that he crushed the front end of the boat.
He must have felt so bad for a minute.
Like mini heart attack when it happened. I was like, is Sean okay? Is the boat okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sure, that was the order. I'm sure that was the order you asked it.
Everything is made of cardboard except the Kraken tentacles.
The Kraken arms are mostly foam with like the very end has PVC piping in it. So it's not even like halfway up the arm. And then the rest of it's really soft, actually.
Yeah. So the Kraken sequence took all hands on deck, and then the shot where the boat breaks apart, like we had to like push record on the camera, and I had to come running behind because the shot where Sean has the harpoon and he's stabbing the giant arm, I was puppeteering that. So I was kind of like directing blindly there.
Wow.
So for the Kraken, even though you see all these different tentacles, we have one giant arm that was, I think, about 8 feet long. Ultimately, it was pretty big and pretty thick too. And then we had 2 smaller ones that were much easier for everybody to manipulate. There was a discussion, I think, ultimately came down to
the Kraken's a character.
Yeah. Besides being a character that interacts with the guys, what it came down to was the Kraken needed to destroy the boat. We needed the physicality of the tentacle to come in. And stage productions mix types of puppetry all the time too, because we also had the discussion of like, well, the mermaids, they're also people. Should we get actors to stand in for them? If you were watching this live on stage and we had projections and everything, since the mermaids are what Colin sees through the telescope, that would ultimately be like a projection that we'd probably show on the back wall of the stage. So everything within the projections, we decided to have be the cutout puppets.
Yeah. And then like the underwater is like a separate set.
Yeah. And like once they're underwater, everything else is cardboard cartoon world.
Yeah.
That's good. Because the mermaid union is hard to negotiate with. So it saves you some time.
Here's one of the mermaids. And I've done some paper cutout animations in the past. If you look at the tail here, there's the joint right here.
Yes.
So there's no hole on this side for the top piece, but on the back little piece, I cut a little hole, and then I'd have to put a little dab of glue in there and glue a tiny circle on top of that just to have the joint move around the dried glue. It prevents the pieces from like sliding all over the place when you're just moving things. Because like when you touch it on the flat surface, it's fine, but like you could pull your hand away and it could shift ever so slightly. And that like little millimeter of a shift really shows up within the animation, and you don't really want to see too much of that. So This helped keep all the characters together. So this was one technique that I did for a lot of the fish. Most of them are just flat pieces. So here's the puffer fish. And with this one, because we wanted to make this look like it's a puppet on stage, and we just kind of, frame by frame, I wiggled it around, and then I was able to just like bend the fins to make it look like the fin was flapping. But for a shot like this, I also created additional pieces for an in-between. So when the puffer fish hits Joe's helmet, I swap it out for this kind of squished version of it, and then swap it out for this blow-up version of it. So it's kind of like, depending upon what kind of shots you do, it's either just like pose by pose, or you just the swap out animation.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
and I try to make them a little bit three-dimensional as well too, because like when we decided upon the type of animation, I'm like, well, the argument was we didn't want it to look like it was just an animated film, because we wanted to maintain the live theatricality of everything. And like a lot of theater nowadays incorporates so much projection and so much like cutout puppetry that this works. You just match this, even with the characters too. The thought behind them was you could have puppeteers holding rods attached to the arms, and on stage they could be moving the character as they moved in the animation too. But the animation just gives it a little bit, I feel like I have more control manipulating them frame by frame.
Yeah, finesse, is that saying like
Yeah.
I'm curious, so you did blue screen and green screen, but your waves are mostly blue with green highlights, and one of your performers was wearing green stripes too. Was there a big challenge in keying things out?
I mean, I mostly
Yeah, that was
rotoscope.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
There were a couple spots. Honestly, I feel like their hair was harder than anything
Yeah.
else.
So,
Kids
and
these
it was
days and their
also like
hair.
we didn't have to like roto around them the whole time. It was only
Right.
whenever like something passed behind them, like if a seagull went behind them, we just have to like roto around where like the seagull hit their shoulder or something.
Okay.
Right. We kind of planned for that. We
Yeah.
tried to keep most of the stuff practical to minimize some of the rotoscoping and some of the masking that we would do.
Mm-hmm.
Those beanies really worked in your favor then.
Yeah.
Was the beanie already part of it? I'm guessing they were, right? Or
Yeah,
okay.
it was.
Yeah. I kind of also designed the costumes. So.
Yeah. There were like two options for the costumes. It was either these ones, which more so matched the look of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or we were looking at the Navy
sailor shirt.
Yeah, like basically like what Robin Williams wore in the Popeye movie, something similar to that.
Oh, like that Pierre Cardin kind of vibey.
Yeah.
But like every place that we looked at, it was like impossible to get a hold of these in time. So we decided to just stick with our original idea of going with the striped shirts. And I like that they each have their individual colors with that one. Because if we had the Navy costumes, it would just be all the same.
Right.
Yeah. I like the variation, and we get a different character. Yeah. Also, like for the performance, since you have the board, but is there like any choreographer or something? Like, how does that form?
So the way that we shoot it is basically shot by shot. They have like a general idea. I'll put all the storyboards into an animatic that they can watch beforehand, but they rely on us to like guide them through the shots. But with this one, it's like one of the few that we've actually needed to like choreograph somewhat of a dance, the umbrella dance.
Yeah. We knew we wanted something there, but we weren't exactly sure what. We were figuring something else out for that.
Doing lighting or
And then the band just kind of came together and we're like, okay, let's do this and figure out these beats. And this is what we're going to do on this beat. And then they spent like 5-10 minutes.
And then they got it.
Choreographed it themselves. They did great. I love what they came up with.
And like one of the challenges with that dance was we couldn't fully choreograph it beforehand because we didn't know how much space they'd actually have, because the boat was never put together before that. Like we had an idea of when the boat was set up here, but until we got it into the space with all four of them in the boat and the umbrellas, we just needed to take that time, and it worked out pretty well. Anne and I look forward to seeing everybody at the festival. We're both going to be there. We'll probably have the little program. So to complete the theatrical experience, everybody can receive a playbill about the film.
That's really cool.
This was such a wonderful collaborative effort. So if you like to see things that are just like handmade by a group of people who just like love working together, and like if you enjoy sea shanties and the nautical adventure, you're gonna love Don't Go Overboard.